Welcome, everyone. Welcome to CSU students, to CSU professors gain mentorship and financial opportunities through the CSU Chancellor's Doctoral Incentive Program, CDIP. My name is Kim Carmona, and I'm the International and Graduate Student Recruiter here at CSUB. I am pleased to introduce to you Dr. Kelly Young, a professor in the Department of Biological Sciences at California State University, Long Beach, and she serves as the Director of Faculty Retention for the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics at CSU LB, and the Faculty Director for the Chancellor's Doctoral Incentive Program for the California State University System. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Young.
Thank you so much, Kim. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you all for being here today. I really appreciate it. And really what I want to talk today about is my role through the CSU system, through the Chancellor's Doctoral Incentive Program. And this is a key program for our CSU students. And I'm really excited that you're here to learn about it, because a lot of people don't know about it, or they think that it exists for like very specific groups. And it's really open to all of our CSU students who really want to go to graduate school, earn their degrees, and then come back and be a professor for us. And that's what the whole program is about. This program was started in 1987, so it's been going on for a long time. And again, that goal is to prepare future CSU professors who are motivated, engaged, and prepared to be the best mentors and professors for our CSU students that they can be. And what better way to do that, in my mind, what better way to do that really than to have our CSU students? Like, we are home-growing, amazing scholars, activists, mentors, and I would love to see our CSU professors really reflect our CSU students. And that's the goal. So if that's something you're interested in, like, yeah, I think I might want to come back and be a professor. I think that could be something it'd be a way to stay engaged, give back to my community, and it would be fun. This is a great program for you. So I really hope that you listen and hear about these benefits, both financial and then also with mentorship. The program's been supported by lottery funds for a long time. So we've got great funding opportunities there. And so far, we've supported over 2,400 doctoral students, and we've supported them nationwide. I am a former, or a current, I guess, you're once a CDIP mentee, you're always a CDIP mentee, but I was a CDIP mentee. So I graduated from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I still talk to my CDIP mentor. I just actually talked to him last month. And this is something that definitely can have a lasting effect on your career. We will talk about some of the financial benefits, but so far, and actually this is only since 2010, we've awarded over $820,000 in professional development. And this is in grants and fellowships. This is in money that the students don't have to pay back. These are fellowships and grants for your own professional development. Remember, our goal is to support you as you earn your PhD, so you come back and you can be a professor. All right, so what are some of these benefits of the program? I'm going to talk about some, I know this is supposed to be financial, but I want to talk about some non-financial things too, as well as financial, because one of the things that I've found is that sometimes students say, hey, I got a great fellowship, or, it's what fellowship is the word we use usually for scholarship, but for graduate school. So I got this great fellowship. I don't need any financial incentives, to which I say, that is amazing. That's fantastic. But there's other benefits as well, right? So it's not just the financial benefits, though. For all the rest of us who do not get the full package, yes, this program is for you as well. So let's talk about some of those benefits. One of the first benefits is that we do professional development with CSU professors across the system. So this is just a glance of what we're doing this year, 22-23. We've got an entire seminar series. We call it First Fridays. For First Fridays, we just invite a professor somewhere in the CSU who is talking about a topic that we think is going to be beneficial to our fellows who are going through graduate school, or in some fields doing a postdoctoral fellowship. So we had an amazing talk with Dr. Sarah Lacey all about mentoring recently. I'm super excited to talk about social justice pedagogy, how to incorporate social justice into any class that you're teaching. I'm That's coming up very soon. And we go into things like how, when you're interviewing at a CSU, what should you do? What are some key things? We also talk about your job applications. What are some things to be looking for when you're preparing your job applications for a CSU? So again, it's some benefits here that go beyond financial. We also have the prep program, the CSU pre-professor program. And this really is a cool program. It immerses you into the life of a CSU professor. Now, this is something that you're going to do closer to finishing up your PhD or finishing up your postdoc, but it's open to you through the CDIP program. As a CDIP mentee, this is something that you can do. And you come in, you actually attend some faculty meetings in your discipline. You have an additional mentor. Take that role of what it would be like to be a professor. And this looks really good on job applications as well. Finally, the last piece of, if we're talking about some of the non-financial benefits of CDIP, is that we offer the AIM program, the Advancing Inclusive Mentoring Program. And this is a program that's near and dear to my heart because it really talks about how we can inclusively and positively mentor our CSU students in ways that are going to really help them flourish and thrive. As you know, CSU students are busy. There's a lot going on and a lot of responsibility. But in my mind, and this is a program that was created at Cal State Long Beach, this is my program, so I really stand behind it. We need to meet our students where they are, and we need to do it with the most positive mentoring possible. And this is a program that talks about those best practices, and we want to share it with you because we want to have you, as again, you're entering the job market. You can say I'm an AIM trained mentor, or as you're actually, where it really counts, right? Where you're actually mentoring your CSU students, and you can do so in ways that will really, again, like I said, help them thrive and succeed and flourish just like you are. All right, to the money. Let's talk about the financial benefits, because there are great financial benefits to this program as well. So the first one is that the first two here are some of our grants. We have a mini grant and a travel grant. The mini grant is really just there for you if you need something done, like you're in the middle of your PhD and you're like, oh man, if I could just get X. Sometimes it's a small piece of equipment. Sometimes it's transcription services because you've just done a bunch of focus groups, or sometimes you need a resource, like there's a particular book and you really need to have your own copy of it. We award up to $2,500 per student per year per CDIP fellow. Right. And again, with this idea of how can we help you advance your research? We know that grants are tough to get, and it's hard to find money for different supplies. And sometimes there's things that you can buy and things that you can't. And this is where we want to come in and really help. The travel grant is another great opportunity. And this is because we know that when you take your work and you present it at conferences, it's going to be really important for your job applications at a CSU to be a CSU professor or anywhere else. But also conferences are an incredible place to network. And we want you to find a mentoring network there so that when you are a CSU professor, you've got lots of incredible professional contacts. So we pay up to $1,500. Again, this is per year per fellow to take you to a conference. And a perk is that your CSU mentor, so your CSU Bakersfield mentor, would be eligible also for an additional $1,500 to come and meet you there. Because the CDIP program, part of it is that you are assigned a CSU Bakersfield mentor, and together you will be talking about what's going on in grad school. And not every day, but you meet regularly. Your mentor knows about your progress. Your mentor can suggest different things. And then once a year, you can meet at a conference and you'll be presenting your work, and you and your mentor can catch up in person. And I really love this perk of CDIP. We also have a dissertation fellowship, and this is where, because a lot of times, like I said, you'll get this financial package and maybe your tuition's paid for because they're asking you to TA, to be a teaching assistant. And that's fantastic. I mean, that's an incredible way. That's what I did, as part of financing my graduate school. But there's a point where maybe you'll want to be taking a semester or taking a term and just writing for your dissertation. Well, we offer up to $5,000 as you're finishing up to just say, okay, I'm not going to TA this semester. I really want to focus. I want to get done. And this has been really beneficial to our fellows as they are just doing that last final push to earning their doctorate. We do offer an optional loan. This is something that we've shifted gears on. In fact, the program used to be known, when I was a CDIP mentee, it was called like the Forgivable Loan Program. We've recently shifted our focus on this because this is an institutional loan. It's by a private company. It's not by the CSU system. And it's not one of the ones that's being talked about on a national level, a federal level of being able to be forgiven because it's not considered an educational loan. So I'm going to say, go for the grants, go for the fellowships. You don't pay that money back, but this loan is something that it's a loan. So I get paid back. And it is just something to really stop and think about. Look at the total financial package, consider maybe educational loans as well, but know that this is an option. You know, this definitely is an option as well. Now, I have had students who have taken out this loan, not spent it. And then when they made the decision of like, okay, I'm going to try, I'm not going to go for the CSU professor because I really, I got this job at somewhere else. That's great. But then they can just pay that loan back as a chunk. But if you do get a job as a CSU professor, the loan is forgiven 20% per year, which means if you're hired as an assistant professor, tenure track, in 5 years, you will get to essentially not have to pay back about half of the loan with taxes. So it is a perk. It's absolutely a perk, but it's something that now we're really suggesting be thoughtful about. Think about this just because we don't fall into that other category of educational loan. One other perk, though, that I will mention, since we're talking about getting that CSU job, we do have a directory that we put out every year with our fellows who are on the job market. It includes your bio that you send us, what do you want us to know? It includes information that, you're a CDIP fellow, which means you have been invested in the CSU. This is something that's been important to you for a while. And that gets sent out to every single CSU campus, to all of the provosts, all of the deans, all of the search committees get this. The search committees hiring new tenure track professors. So they see that you are there, that you are interested. Now you still have to apply for the job. Like it doesn't take out that part, but it's like an extra boost. And we also let them know that if you do get selected for an interview, we will reimburse the campus for the cost of flying you in. And it's just a nice added perk like, hey, consider our CDIP fellows, because again, they've been prepared. They're motivated. There are former CSU students, and we really do want to see you guys back. Okay. Last thing, how do we do, like, what, how does this happen? How do you apply? If you're interested, what I would say is go onto our CDIP page, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll throw these links. I have them written out, but that doesn't always translate very well. I'll throw them in the chat so you can see that. The due date for the application, what you'll want to do, the due dates are different for every campus. So you'll always want to check to see what is Bakersfield doing, because that's the campus that you'd apply for. And you want to make your first contact the CSU Bakersfield coordinator, and that's your first person to contact. You'll need a mentor. So you'll need to have a CSU Bakersfield faculty mentor who's willing to be your partner in this and talk about like how to best support you through graduate school. What are some good steps to take? If you want to come back and be a professor, what should you be looking for as you're doing your graduate degree? Because a lot of times at the programs that do house PhD programs, they're not necessarily thinking about things that we value. Like we really value if you have teaching experience, especially if you can, for example, show like one of our seminars, how you fold social justice into your classroom. How are you approaching this? How are you going to be a great fit for the CSU campus? And that's where your CSU mentor can really come into play here and help guide you. So first step, look at those due dates. They are in January and February. So if you're applying for grad school, if you're applying for PhD programs, that's going to be in the fall, October, November, December. Then the next January, like right after that, so December, then January, that's when you can apply for CDIP. And you'll want to make that like, okay, I've just applied. I'm going to take all of those essays, all of those statements that I wrote, and you're going to transform them into your CDIP application along with a mentoring plan. So you'll put that in, and a letter of rec from your mentor and from one of your other letter writers, and please apply. The process goes through Bakersfield first, then it comes to the CSU system, and then you're notified later that spring. So I'm going to end it there, and I'll take questions because I know usually there's a lot of questions that come up. Thank you for thinking about this, for considering this, and honestly for considering the potential return to a CSU, because I truly feel that we can make a difference. The CSU is an incredible and transformative place, and honestly, it has been my dream job to come to work every day. Okay, not every day. Most days, it has been my absolute dream job. And I'm really serious about that. So I hope that you'd consider doing the same. So thanks. And any questions, please pop them in the chat, or you have some.
Thank you so much, Dr. Young. I really enjoyed this presentation. It was really informative, and I love your passion for it, and also just working overall for the CSU system. As someone that's newly employed within the CSU and at CSUB, it's great to come across other individuals that are so passionate for what they do. So thank you so much for sharing and sharing all your expertise for this wonderful program. It looks like we may have time for a few questions.
Okay, great. Let's look. Oh, this is a great question. I've actually seen this a few places. So do you have to go to a CSU for your PhD? No. And sorry I wasn't clear about that. So most PhD programs are actually at big time research universities. They're, they may not be focused on or they're focused on many different things. Many CSUs do not have PhD programs. So our goal is to have you go out, find a strong PhD program, earn your degree. In some fields, you'll need to postdoc as well, do a postdoctoral fellowship, and it all becomes clear as you start your graduate degree. Okay, what are the steps that I need to take? We want you to go out and then come back. So that's the goal. So no, you don't have to be at a CSU. Okay. And this is another great question. So can DACA students apply? Absolutely, please. This money is here for you. We want to support you in your endeavors to earn your degree, come back and be a CSU professor. Please do apply.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can the staff that are currently staff of the CSU and going to school, can they participate in this program?
Thank you so much for that question. That's a great question. Yes. And I forgot to say, I should have said, we actually allocate a certain percent of our spots for CSU lecturers. So that's not all, that's lecturers, but if you are a lecturer with your master's and you're earning your PhD, please apply. I have personally seen many CSU staff members do the same thing. So while there's not a set allocation, I'd still apply. You're good. Like, we want to see people again who are committed to the CSU, whether they're coming through it or they're working at a CSU. If you have a connection, we'd like to see you apply. And if you don't have a connection, that can still work too, as long as you can get a CSU advisor on board. But yes, please apply if you're a staff member earning your PhD and this is something you're thinking about that you'd like to do. We'd love to see you.
Thank you so much.
Let's see, anything else? Do you have to have, yes, you have to have a mentor, and your mentor really should be from CSU Bakersfield, because you're a Bakersfield student. That's ideal. Somebody that you've been working with, if you have done any projects at like a research project, that's an ideal fit to have that mentor continue. But if you haven't, that's okay too. This is, maybe approach a professor who you've really enjoyed their class, you've attended a lot of office hours, and present this program. And we have or we will have on the CDIP website information like a flyer to hand out, so what does this being a CDIP mentor mean? And so we can talk about, that, and you can share that with a potential mentor. And I see one last question, which is, do you need to only apply to CSU Bakersfield? No. So in terms of like coming, no, you can apply. We want you anywhere. We want you in the system. So please, I mean, it would be cool to go back to your alma mater for sure. So we welcome that as well. But please, the idea is we want you to find your fit. We want you to find your dream job. And we hope that it's within the CSU system. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Young.
Thank you.